Really good practice today. The team was anxious to fly around, really anxious to compete. They like football. I think they're tough. I think they're physical, and I had fun today. I was really impressed with our practice.
Just as far as the intensity goes, when you start, is this the fastest you've started getting those scuffles? Because here you are, second day, and guys are going at it.
It could be a world record, but that's a good sign. Man, I like it starting to where neither side will back down, and that's our approach in terms of when an opponent comes in, so we might as well start now. I like it a lot.
How do you know when to start conditioning when it gets a little out of hand?
That's a great question. I'd rather wait longer than start sooner, so they can see the implications of what that looks like. And it doesn't take long before they kind of start self-correcting. So if I don't see them doing that at some point, we might be losing execution through emotion or stupid penalties along the way. Then they'll see that, and as they get competitive and the flags start being thrown in critical situations, that usually does a lot to start managing it. So I kind of let that happen before I step in.
We saw the intensity, but just as far as the physicality from the offensive line, you like what you're seeing as far as those guys right now?
Yeah, I mean, we still have pass protection work to do, but man, they're not afraid, and they're trying hard, and they're physical, and our run game is strong.
Coach, are you seeing the development in Taysom's throwing game that you wanted to see? Is he where you thought he would be at this point in time?
Well, I think he's just where he was at the end of fall camp. I mean, end of the season after 2 practices. But the focus and the direction and the coaching he's getting is to direct it that way. I think he throws the ball well. It's a matter of us just now designing and making sure he has the right throws to make, the receivers running the right routes at the right depth. We protect it well enough, so all parts. So what we mostly see is Taysom's delivery, but we need to protect it better. We need to be sharper in our routes, and then I think we'll take another step.
Has Craig Bills assumed the cat safety role, and if so, how's he doing with that?
We're mixing and matching right now in the secondary. We're anticipating Jordan Johnson's return at some point, so we like Rob Daniel a lot at corner. We like Trenton Trammell a lot at corner already. And so Craig can play either spot, but when Jordan comes back, Rob Daniel might be able to play safety. And so if we can cross-train Craig, and then Rob can play corner and possibly free, that gives us more depth just from existing players that we already know are experienced. So we're going to experiment this spring, maybe on an every other day basis.
So is cat safety the one that requires the most experience?
Not necessarily. Free safety is more difficult because you have to make all the calls and control things. But if Craig is playing cat, he could still make all those calls from that position. And so we would just shift it that way. Sky Pove and Rob Daniel will just flop from boundary corner to free safety back and forth.
What's the overriding value of spring compared to what you're going to be doing 5 months from now?
Man, that's a tough one. I really like to see players that didn't play much a year ago and assess where they are. I really like to see schematic things that we think are going to help us improve from where we were and addressing deficits. I'd like to see those on film before we just go gun-ho in the fall. Then underlying all that, especially with as much as they want to hit each other right now, underlying all that is you don't want to lose the wrong player to injury for the fall. And so that's the hard part to manage. And really, you have to choose when you're in pads, how much you're in pads, whether you're on grass, and so we try to do that as much as we can. But certain players, the risk-reward in spring is pretty low. Do
you already have an idea of how your spring-ending scrimmage might look compared to previous years? Or?
Not yet. What I do know, if I had to fill in at least one piece of the puzzle, is there'll be very few of the starters performing. It'll be young and development-oriented. By that time, there's not much value knowing that we still have fall, and fall camp is long enough where I still think that could be shortened. So we're still a long ways out, and with this team, managing the intensity is going to be really difficult, which is fun.
Can you shape out the nose tackle position with Marcus Johnson not being able to participate?
We've just been really impressed with Kesni Tausinga off his mission, and we like Travis Tuiloma, and so those two right off the bat. The other guy that's pretty interesting right now is we moved Josh Carter from O-line to D-line, and man, after just one practice, he works hard. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he works hard, and so he might be someone that, who knows, but he's kind of an intriguing guy after 2 practices.
John Raheem in the mix?
Yeah, John Raheem's in the mix, and that would be really fun if we could get him to come along. A lot of conditioning work still to do. He's down a bunch of weight.
Good down? Or?
Good down, yep. And so we're all hopeful that can take a positive turn.
Does Brad Wilcox leave the program? He's not on the roster.
Brad is out for this spring, hopeful to return by fall. That's the hope.
Coach, it wouldn't be a spring ball without the obligatory question about physicality and what you're planning on doing with physicality. Are you going to hit a lot or about the same as always?
The rules dictate how much we can hit. We can only have really 3 scrimmage-oriented practices and others that no more than 8 total or 7 total. I forget which one that can be more than 50%. I usually go less than that anyway because of how far the season is away. And so it'll be similar, especially if the guys look like they did today. I mean, yeah, but that's good.
After your press conference on Monday, the 10-second rule got tabled, so way to go.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Should I take direct credit for that?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm sure there's other coaches that aren't so happy, but those are usually the most self-centered about what their program wants.
Another issue that's come up recently is the storming the court in basketball particularly, but you've been on fields that have been stormed by fans. What is your opinion just of that particular issue?
I think it falls to the management of that facility to make a safe environment as much as possible. Certainly there are some instances where almost no matter what you do, you're going to be hard to keep people off. And I don't really have a direct answer other than the direct ownership comes first to the management of the facility and then to the fans.
There's an internet video of you being approached by one of those fans. Is there any way to avoid situations like that?
Who knows? Again, I think if every stone is unturned by the management of that particular facility, I think some take it much more seriously than others. And then there's always fans that need more direction in terms of class and sportsmanship. But man, it's an emotional game and the fans get involved in it too. So that's one of the things that makes college football great.